nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And a message coming from my eyes says, leave it alone. Don't wanna hear about it. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it. From the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title, we gonna talk about it. But first, can y'all hear me? I don't know if there's anyone in the chat. I don't see the numbers on these members live. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me before I begin. Anybody in here? Hayati. Anybody in the building? Any? I got another work with mic check, mic check. Mic check. Okay. Okay, so triple A system. We gonna get into it. Triple A system. And this is triple A system of logical thinking. This is actually a system I use a lot. It's something that, when you're uncertain, something I can go to, kind of like a cheat code, like a hack. But to fully understand it or grasp the concept, I got to introduce some principles that, we talk about a lot. One of them is duality, right? Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All paradoxes can, all paradoxes may be reconciled. So what does that mean? Everything has uh, an extreme to it. So good has bad, light has dark. So one thing exists on the total end of it, and you'll understand the concept as I'm going through. Why that's meaningful, because if something is bad, it's something good right down the street. So we got to keep that in mind. And the second one is so within, so without. We all here as so above, so below, right? This goes to believe, to have demystified one of the biggest secrets of life. In the modern world, as within presumes, what do we think deep within ourselves? How well we know ourselves. So without supposing that it will get expressed in the life we lead. As so above represents what's on our mind, heaven. So below emphasizes that it will be seen in and around our body and heart. So with as so within, so without, I want you to use this part of the concept. It's dual. Okay, so I'm incorporating polarity with this. So what's going in on the inside will eventually reflect on the outside. Meaning, if we fix our inside, we can fix the way we look at the outside. All right. So AAA system. What is that? Triple A awareness. We all know what awareness is. To be aware. The way I'm using this concept is like this: be in the moment. Be aware of what's happening right now in the moment. Not what happened in the past, not what may happen in the future, but what's going on right now. You have to be aware. Acceptance. You have to be willing to accept what's going on. Right? That's one of the hardest things. We see things and we don't want to believe it. We have to come to a point of acceptance and action. So we all know what action is. But we're going to go through and how we incorporate it to logical thinking. Because when we're talking about logical thinking, right, the one way to do that, the only way to do it, is to eliminate emotion. But how do you eliminate emotion when you're when you're in the midst of going through something? How is it possible for you to eliminate an emotion? Um, with the AAA system, right? I'm just checking the chat again. See if we'll keep rocking and rolling. If anything, it's a video, right? So the first one, awareness. How do we use awareness? So we have to identify, right? And like I said, we're using polarity. First, we're going to talk about how to eliminate the emotion, and then we're going to use the same system to identify what's going on outside of it. How to use this to logically think. First, we're going to use it to check our emotion, and then we're going to use it outside ourselves. So again, that concept, that's so within, so without. First, you have to control the inside, what's going on with you, before you can deal with what's going on outside of you. So the first thing we want to do is to identify if we having any emotion when we having conversation, when we're reading, when we're watching, anytime we interact. If we having any emotion, we need to identify what that emotion is, right? Um, So how do you identify it? Well, how do you feel? You know, are you angry? Are you mad? Are you upset? You have to identify, figure out what emotion is, and understand it. Understanding is understanding where that emotion comes from. Something triggered this. Is it something the person said? Is it something the person did? Is it something I did? Is it an environment? You have to understand. So you have to identify what the emotion is, and then we have to come to a point of understanding how it came. And this is important because we have to understand what triggered us. We don't understand what and why we got triggered. Um, then we can't. I'm sorry, I see. Yeah, because I can't see numbers in there. Okay, Marlene, you here? Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. Yeah, if y'all in the chat, let me know because I can't see no numbers. And if you got questions, um, this is a members only live, so feel free to stop me at any time. When I get done with it, I will drop the link if anyone wants to come up and ask a particular question. But so identify, and again, we talking about us first. That's why I had to present as so within, so without, and I had to present polarity. I didn't get into the polarity part yet, but first thing you do is when you're having these conversations, when you're interacting, when you're watching, whatever you're doing, and this emotion is evoked and the emotion rises up, straight to awareness. You know, again, you have to be in the moment, not in the future, not in the past, but in the second. I don't even want you in the minute. I want you in the second. What's going on right now? This is the key, right? We're talking about self development. We're talking about becoming a better us. You have to know you to be a better you. So you have to get to the point where you go into the moment. And it's easier with tools. If you have something to get you there, it's easier to get there. And that's what this triple A. A lot of times, as soon as I feel an emotion, even to this day, I say in my head, triple A, triple A. And it puts me, it brings me right to reality. Okay, now I understand something going on. I got this emotion. I don't know where it's coming from. Let me identify it. Let me understand it. So awareness, identify and understand. And this is right here. This one right here is the one that it took me a minute to fully grasp this concept. So um, you may see fear in here. That's because I use this. I use this to eliminate fear. This is one of the processes. I got a part two of that, but this is one of the processes. So uh, don't even, I mean, disregard the fear part right now, or you can regard it because it may be something that may be the emotion evoked. But acceptance, acknowledging the existence of the emotion that you're feeling at that time. Accept it. Okay, this is what it is. You know, a lot of times we fight ourselves. We don't like to think a person can manipulate us or make us feel a certain type of way. You know, especially as men, right? Men are ego driven. Can't nobody change my mood. Can't nobody. No, accept it. You have to learn to accept, no matter what it is. If it's a fault, if it's insecurity, if it's a flaw, accept it. You have to accept it, right? We're talking about getting over it. Once you accept it, um, or acknowledge it. I'm sorry. Well, acceptance is this is how you accept it. First, you have to acknowledge it, right? You have to acknowledge the existence of it. This is in me. You know, I may not like it, but it's here. You know, so um, and after you acknowledge, you have to understand the impact that it's having. It's making me feel this way. I don't like it. You know, you have to accept it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to admit it. How do you accept it? Acknowledging it and admitting it. You know, it may not look pretty, but guess what? That's why we're getting rid of it. But to get rid of it, we first have to admit that this is a problem. This is an issue. This is something that I don't like. This is something that's bothering me. This is something that's not beneficial to me. You have to accept it. And the way you do that is by acknowledging the existence of it and also admitting the impact. You have to admit it. This makes me feel this way. If I get around somebody, and I'm like, hey man, this person just makes me feel this way. You know, I have to let that pride go and admit that this is having an impact on me. You know, if it's an insecurity of mine, right? I have to admit, okay, this is having an impact on me. Because if you never admit it, you'll never fix it. That's just what it is. You have to admit to fix. You know, sometimes it's hard. It's the process. Sometimes we'll go deeper into that. I got something for that too. But right now, we have to accept, and to accept, you have to first acknowledge the existence. It's there. It's a problem. I see it. I feel it. I recognize it. Right, and then admit the impact. You have to see it for what it is. Just see it for what it is. It's something I don't like. It's something I want to build upon. It's something I want to get rid of. It's something that I want to grow. Whatever it is, you have to accept it. And this is the key to accept. And my favorite one, right? Action. So we aware of it. So, for instance, if we're having a conversation, sorry, let me get back to the chat real quick. Keymosh, what up, sis? Appreciate you. 755, love you, Miss Tracy, Marlene. Apology. These members live are weird. Tam Tam, what up? I don't know if everyone is still in here, but I appreciate everyone for coming through. I'm gonna pump the information out. It's weird because I can't see numbers, so I don't know if people in the chat. Um, but yeah, so action. So um, we became aware. We're aware of something making us feel a certain way, making us think a certain way. You know, and again, we using this for logically thinking. Logically think, first thing you have to do is eliminate the emotion. So the first process we're going through is eliminating the emotion. So to eliminate the emotion, you first have to be aware that you're having or you're feeling some type of way, right? If you're not aware that you're feeling some type of way, you can't admit to it, you can't accept it, and you can't take action. So the first key part is awareness. Then is accepting it. Okay, this is a problem. I don't like the way this makes me feel. So now after that, we got to take action. So now we're aware of it. We identified it. We see where it's coming from. We know the impact it's having on us. So what do? Well, we got a couple things. We can educate ourselves about it. Knowledge is power. You have to educate yourself. And that's not from picking up a book. Like I said, once you accept it and once you're aware of it, okay, I know I'm upset and I'm angry, right? I know why I'm upset. I'm angry. This person said something to trigger me. Um, Education can look like this. Is this person doing this intentionally? Is this person trying to trigger me? And is it just my flaw and I'm tripping? Think of education as knowing and knowledge. So this is the action we take. We educate ourselves. Why are we feeling like this? How do we get to this point? It may be something deep dive and it can't be worked out right then and there. I know because I experienced it. But education, these are all options. These are all actions you can take. Not just one. You might have to use three. You might have to use just one. You might need to use two. But the action is I'm giving you um, different forms of action to take depending on the situation. So education is one. Preparation, you know, prepare yourself. Okay, look, I know I'm having this conversation. This person already triggered me. Pretty sure they go through it again, but now I know. I'm aware of it. So when they do it again, I can just navigate through it, walk around it, or I can call them out. That calling them out will be an attack. You can attack it, you know. Observation, just sit back and look. Just sit back and pull in more information. You know, a lot of times, um, I made a show. You allow a person to talk long enough, they tell you everything you need to know. And you do that through observation. You'll hear me say, be quick to listen and slow to talk. That's observation. It's you sitting back, looking at things for what they are, observing things in its natural state, with no opinion about it, just simply observing it. No matter how you feel, how you think, you just look at things for what it is. With those showing observation, but attack. Sometimes you have to go at things. Like if I'm feeling bad about something, if I'm angry or mad, me personally, I go attack. And how do I do that? I go release the energy. Attack is just you doing something aggressively about it. I go outside away from everybody and scream, get it off me. You know, um, if I'm having a conversation and I'm start feeling like a person is triggering me, out of all these, what do? I observe. Once I feel it the first time, I start preparing for it to come again because I know now is a possibility that this person is having these conversations or using these words to trigger me. I get to that point. Hold on one second. Liz B, what up though? Miss Tracy, Miss Tracy. Appreciate you, Liz. Appreciate it. So, like, if I feel a person is having these conversations, right, and a person is attacking me, trying to trigger me, I sit back, I observe. Once I'm triggered once, now I'm prepared. It might happen again. Now I'm observing to look to see if this person doing it intentionally or if it's just, conversation and they just so happen to say something to trigger me. That happens a lot. So I'm observing to see who tripping, me or them, you know. And while you're observing, I'm intaking information. So I'm educating myself about the person. I'm learning more about the person's personality and characteristics. So going back to the beginning because that's how we get to a point of controlling our emotions. We're aware of it, we accept it, and we do something about it. Sometimes the best, especially just learning how have a high emotional intelligence, sometimes it's best just to observe. You know, go through the motions, observe, take in the experience. You know, because sometimes we can react and we don't have full information or we don't understand the situation in totality, and we're not quite sure if we can eliminate our emotions um, yet. So, logically thinking. So, how do we use this to logically? Again, we're going back to the beginning. Awareness. Okay, we have to identify it. Like we had the conversation about the brick lady yesterday, right? How do we have a logical conversation about that? You have to be aware. You have to identify. Okay, I know this is going to spark a lot of emotions. Everybody feels some type of way about it. I'm aware of that. You know, I understand that too. You know, I understand that people go feel some type of way. People go be for her. People go be against her. So to have a logical conversation, I have to be able. First, I have to be aware that everyone feels a certain type of way. Everyone has their own perspective. I understand that. I identified it, and I understand it. And get to a point where you accept that. You know, you accept that people feel and think differently, right? I acknowledge the existence. You know, that's just what it is, and I can admit the impact because if I say something that goes against what they believe in, they go feel some type of way. You know, if I say something that goes with what they say, they might be on my bandwagon. You know, you got to understand the impact of what you would do, like what your actions will have on other people, especially having a conversation. There's a lot of times, you know, I'm aware of people's emotional attachment to certain things when we have a conversation. So I'm careful with how I proceed, you know, um, and having those conversations. I'm not trying to say anything to trigger people. Sometimes that may take something away from what I'm trying to, the context, to take away from the context of me building with them. But if I want to effectively communicate with this person, I can't do it if they're in a defensive state. These are the things that goes in my mind when having logical conversations, trying to find solutions. You know, I understand that people may be triggered. A lot of people won't be able to not invoke what they feel into a conversation or thought. I understand that. I accept all that. You know, everyone has different levels, right? Everyone don't work on themselves. Everyone is not interested in becoming a better version. I understand that. So sometimes I avoid conversations with people. You know, um, once you go through this process, I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, the thing you learn is this. Sometimes it's just best not to say anything. You know, there's no point of getting into a conversation if I'm gonna argue with someone. There's no solutions coming out of that. Some people you just can't talk to. You know, and this is acceptance. You have to identify. You know, once we go through the awareness portion, this is the acceptance part. You already identified. You know, in awareness, what are we doing? We're identifying and understanding. You know, you have to identify. You can't have a logical conversation with someone thinking emotional. So if you can go through the process and eliminate your emotions and look at the situation in its totality, and other people can't. You have to identify that. You have to understand it. You have to accept it. You know, because now you're just wasting your time. And I'm just being honest with you. You know, you can't have conversations with everybody. Not logically. If you want to get into a shouting match or you know you want to exchange feelings with somebody, you can talk to anybody. But everyone can't come to a point where they can logically think. You know, some people think their perspective or the way they look at life, that's how life is. They think that's all life is. Those people, you can't have a logical conversation because you will constantly hear this, I feel, I feel, I feel. When you're talking to someone and they feel, now you know who you're having a conversation with. And I'm not saying that's bad. You know, a lot of conversations are emotional based. If a person telling a story or telling their perspective, they gonna tell you how they feel. But if you're talking about a subject such as should black men protect black women, that's a tough conversation to have. You know, people will feel a certain type of way. And I mentioned in the live last night, logically thinking, I mean, it don't matter how anyone feels. The reality is this: no, black men do not have to protect black women. Men protect the women of their family. You know, if you're looking for a random black man to help you when you're out and about, you're gonna be disappointed. I'm not talking about how I feel it should be. I'm not talking about how um, I would like it to be. I'm talking about reality. The reality is this: if you're a black woman and you out there alone, you out there alone. If you ain't bringing the help with you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put too much in the basket of somebody helping me because I'm black. I just wouldn't do it. You know, like I said, we can talk about how we feel and how we think and how things should be. I'm talking about what's reality. And the quicker we accept that, the quicker you can do things to protect yourself, put yourself in a position where if you are attacked, you're prepared. That's more important than how somebody feels. You know, I know that might sound assholeish, but you know, people get on here and no knock against nobody. They just tell you how they feel, how things should be. That's fine and dandy. You know, we got Walt Disney for that. Those fairy tales. I'm telling you what it is and how it is, and either you prepare or you will become a victim. So this is what I'm talking about. Accept. You know, you have to accept. Some conversations I can't have with people because they go tell me how they feel. They go tell me what they want. They go tell me their desires and wishes. I tell them to go create that thing. You know, you want the school board to do this. You can want it all day, but I don't mean they go do it. You want this out of the police. You can want it all day. That don't mean they go do it. The reality is this: if you want something, you got to go get it. You got to create it. You got to build it. That's just what it is. Can you get assistance and help? Yeah, my tax dollars paying this. I should have this. That's all fine and dandy. You can just keep harping on that, or you can do something about it right now. And that's where I'm at in life. You know, if something needs to be done, I go do it. I find a way to get it done. Put the people around me to help me get it done, or it just don't get done. But I'm not about to complain about it. I ain't about to pull no heartstrings and say, look how we. Nah, none of that stuff is beneficial. To me, all that stuff is weak. So I don't do it. You don't see me doing it. You ain't gonna ever see me do it. I don't ask for nothing. I go get or I create. But and so that's the type of person I am. But when we talking about logically thinking, you have to accept the fact that sometimes people can't eliminate. Now we're talking about the outside part, the environment. We done control the inside. We got to a point where we can eliminate our uh, our emotions. Now we got to make sure the audience. But this is two part. Remember duality. So not only outside of you, it's not only the environment, but how do you take the information back inside of you too? So we're gonna talk about that part too. So acknowledging the existence of, you know, using the brick lady for example, right? We know this happened. Um, we can hypothetically think, what if she did this? What if she did that? Um, none of that matters. When you logically think, um, the hypotheticals only come in when you're trying to create a condition. Other than that, just take the information that stays value. This is what happened. We eliminated our emotions, right? We already did that part. Now we're looking at the information that we that's in front of us. So using the brick lady example again, acknowledging the existence of what happened. So we acknowledging this lady got hit by a brick. We We wasn't there. We don't know why. We know she got a history, right? Um, but that history don't matter. You know why? Because this lady get hit by a brick. We ain't putting no emotions in it. We just looking at the fact a lady got hit by a brick. This is not beneficial to anyone, right? No one should be walking around hitting ladies with bricks. And this is no emotion. This is just fact. This is a woman getting hit with a brick. We have to admit the impact that it has. You know, if you look at an assault, especially on women, we know it's happening a lot. And just work with me for a second. And this is why I'm telling you logical thinking versus emotion. I'm going to show you how you eliminate the emotion or how the emotion was eliminated out of the conversation. You know, I'm looking at the problem. The problem is that we don't care how it happened and why it got to where it got to right now. We looking at the problem. First, you have to look at the problem. You know, lady got hit by a brick. Lady got assaulted. Okay, it don't matter if other man was around watching. A lady got assaulted. That's a problem. So what can we do about that issue? Well, we know that in certain environments, um, things are more likely to happen. So we got to look at the environment. We have to look at what type of people that she was around. Did she have anyone with her? You know. So we're looking at the environment. We're looking at the people that's around. Okay. We say, what was she doing? To be honest with you, if you look at those two things, it don't really matter what she was doing because even if she was popping off at the gun, we understand that when women are alone, they pray. We're looking for solutions. When women are alone, they pray. And depending on the type of environment she was in, you might have more wolves. So first things first, uh, logically thinking, she shouldn't have been in that environment alone. She shouldn't have been in that environment, not being able to protect herself and not having people to protect her. And she wouldn't have got hit with a brick. You can say if she didn't pop off her mouth or this, but we know if we're using hypotheticals, we know women get attacked all the time if they say something or if they don't. The issue is we trying to prevent women from getting attacked. So how can we do that? We know all men ain't gonna jump in. That's not even a dependable option. A man intervening. So what can we do? We can better prepare our women. We can make. We can give them more awareness, understand the surroundings and environments you're going in. We can better equip them. Mace, pepper spray, CPL, knife, whatever weapon you need to use to even the score, like even the playing field. You know, if you're talking about a man attacking you or if you're talking about a group of people attacking you, you with a weapon is a better option than you without one. But the awareness is key, knowing where to be and where not to be, when to leave and when to stay. So emotionally thinking, we go hypothetical all day. Well, look what she was doing. Look the type of person she is. She slapped a man. She did this. She did that. Then you got people saying that's a woman no matter what. We got to defend the women. With all that stuff is mumble jumble and it don't matter. Fact is, woman got assaulted. How do we prevent this from happening again? How do we stop this from happening in the future? We have to take action, and that's what those are some options that I gave. You know, education, understanding, understanding the environment that she was in, understanding people that she was around, understanding her personality. You know, people do bring stuff to themselves. You know, if you wasn't popping off at the gums or putting energy into it, negative energy into it, people saying that wouldn't happen. We don't know. We don't know what she was doing. We've seen video of her doing the most, but she a TikToker. She on social media. Who don't do that? You know. I don't know if that's a character that they're showing or if that's really her. I don't know which one, but I can logically say this too, right? The energy you put out, you get back. So if you on here portraying a character and you doing the most, when something actually happens to you, ain't nobody gonna feel bad because they don't know you. They only know the character. So you have to be careful of the energy you put out. And that's not saying nothing negative to her. I'm not saying that was her karma or nothing like that. I'm just telling you fact. What I just said is a logical thought. You come on here as a character and your character is nasty. If something happened to you, people don't know you. They only know the character. So they will react to what happened to the character, not the person. You have to think about that before you portray yourself in a certain light. If I come on here and say I'm tough, 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 and then somebody rob me and beat me after death, ain't nobody gonna feel bad because I was tough, remember? If I come on here saying like I'm messy and somebody docks all my personal information, ain't nobody gonna feel bad because I'm messy. They only know the character you portray. They don't know the real person. Yeah. So you have to be careful. So that's the only negative thing I can say about that lady. And I don't think that's negative. That's just what the actuals are. you know. That's just what it is. So but to logically think, how do you is education, you know, I use preparation. What's preparation? Again, a form of education. Like even when I want to talk about conversation, I didn't talk about that for a while. I had to educate myself. I had to go look because people were saying, "Well, that's what she get for slapping a white dude." But that was a skit. Now, if I would have got on here and said that, there's not a lot of people out here rebuttaling that. People came on here and said that's what she get because she slapped the white guy, right? But now, after it came out, it was a skit. People not coming on here correcting themselves. And to me, that just tells a lot about a person's character. You were wrong. You put a jacket on this woman, and people will try to justify. Well, this. Nah, man. Look, it was a skit. How easy is it to correct that, to fix that? Copper tone, Tam Tam, what up? What action? So even looking at that situation, right? I prepared myself through education, learning about the different facts about the case. Even looking at the pictures myself, she had a different outfit on from when she slapped the guy until she got hit with a brick. She ain't had no earrings. Her jewelry was different. She had different chains on. It was clearly a different day, but people were saying earlier before that happened to her, this happened. That's irresponsible. You know, that's irresponsible. And the way I attacked that was I looked at the situation, I eliminated my emotion, I found the problem within it, and I came with solutions. That's how I attacked it. Attack just means action itself. You getting aggressive. The education, that's passive. Preparation, that's passive. Observation, that's passive. Attack, that's aggressive. That's the only form of aggression that I put within the action, right? But that's just doing something about it. I should change that. Doing something about it. Not like physically attacking it, but doing something about it. I'm gonna have this conversation without having emotion because, like I said, this is not something that's rare. Women are being attacked, and we can sit up here. We seen what happened in Chicago. You know, there's so many attacks happening that's not getting reported. So I can sit up here and talk about full of emotions and tell y'all how I feel. I can do all that, but it's BS. I want to come on here and give you solutions. And I had to eliminate the emotion. People always go feel some type of way. You always gonna have people saying men should protect men. You can keep waiting for that, or you can take action and protect yourself. And I'm not saying uh, men aren't supposed to protect women. I'm just telling you, I'm only protecting the women in my tribe. I'm only protecting my women because I have a duty to them, not to only protect, but to provide. And if I go out with a cape on and something happens to me, I can no longer do my duty. I can no longer protect the women of my tribe if I'm not here to do it. So a lot of men ain't jumping to help everybody. I don't blame them. They're not supposed to. We talk about community. If I'm within a community and somebody in the community being attacked, of course I'm gonna help. But just some random person on the street, I don't know them. You don't know what that person is into. We can talk about Good Samaritan. We can talk about all that. I know some heroes that died, and guess what? Ain't nobody taking care of their family. That's the reality. You can play hero if you want, but you got responsibilities and a duty. You know, as a woman, how would you feel if you married, you got a husband, he paid majority of the bills, y'all have a happy, joyous life, y'all got kids, he go to the store, and 20 minutes later the cops come, say, man, we just want to tell you your husband died a hero. Now your kids growing up without a dad because your husband tried to play a hero. Well, that's what he should have did. Look, no, it's not. I'm taking all emotions out of it. Think about it. His job and responsibilities to his family. We all, as human beings, we need to understand what self-preservation is. We bring people into this world. We teach them how to walk. We teach them how to talk, but we don't teach them how to defend themselves. Everybody needs a savior. Everybody waiting for somebody to come help them, come save them. That's just not reality. And the more people live in that dream world, the more they go suffer. I hear about people being attacked and stuff like that. First thing I think about is, damn, ain't nobody, you ain't have nothing on you. You ain't have no people with you. You have to move accordingly. Shout out to the realest one. You know, 6ix9ine, what up though, sis? You have to move accordingly, right? You have to move with a purpose. You know, when you leave your house, you have to have intentions to come back safely. That's just what it is. And that's your responsibility. This whole man supposed to protect women, that's a nice thought. We can write a fairy tale about it. That's not reality. So let's get to reality and let's find solutions. Women, I'm telling you, you ain't got the man in your tribe with you. Give yourself the best chance to get back to them, or hold people off until they can get to you. We have to be mindful of this. This world is ugly and naive, and if you ain't prepared for it, just go swallow you. You know, if someone helps you out in public with anything, it's nice. We can all sit here and say the world used to be like this. That's fine. It used to be. It's not. So we have to adjust. We have to adapt. We have to keep moving forward. If we want to create a world like that, we create our own community. We create our own tribe, and we do that. But stop expecting everybody just to tag along and everybody to agree and do it, because that's not reality. It's not gonna happen. You know, I don't live in that candy land, that sugar coated, none of that stuff. I live in reality. That's why I can speak the way I speak with the confidence, because I'm prepared. I'm educated. I observe. I do all these things. And that's why I can have confidence and I can talk positive and I can create bubbles or pockets for my own kingdom where I enjoy it. And I'm not affected by all the things out in the world because I don't accept it. I don't allow it to be part of my reality. I don't. And you don't have to either. You don't have to accept none of that. You don't have to allow it to affect you. You can see it for what it is and adjust accordingly. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for a minute, but I know I got a little bit off topic, but I don't know if you had any questions. I apologize too. It's raining like a mug here. And when it rains, my shunt start tightening up, so I'm trying to drink coffee. I got a killer migraine. But yeah, education, preparation, observation. And when we're talking about logically thinking, remember we have to eliminate our emotions. And not only that, um, you have to understand your audience. You have to understand the subject. You have to understand um, what you're talking about. And once you eliminate your emotions, go through these steps. Accept things for what they are. Look at things exactly for what it is. Like that lady getting hit by a brick. Like I said, both sides people got emotions. You're hearing all this crazy talk. People going to investigate. None of that should matter. The fact of the matter is the lady got hit with a brick. That shit is not normal. It shouldn't be accepted. But we finding people with their emotions because a woman hurt them, justifying, well, she probably one of the women who do this. It don't matter what that lady did. If she wasn't trying to take nobody's life, there's no reason a man should have picked up a brick and hit her with it. You can't justify him doing that because some woman broke your heart. And that's what people on here doing. And then you got people who riding down with her. And it's like, that don't even make sense neither. None of this shit is going to fix none of this is a solution. And people saying, well, men need to protect women. That's not a solution because that's not going to happen everywhere. That's not logical. What can we do tomorrow to prevent this from happening again? Ladies, go get your mace, go get your CPL, keep your shank with you, be aware, and if the incident happens, be ready. That's what you can do. And I promise you, these women, look, I'm telling y'all this too. Women, they real lax with y'all on gun laws. They real relaxed. Y'all can pop a motherfucker. I'm being real. I know in Michigan, right? If a man take a woman purse, turn around and run away, she can light him up because of the potential threat. He has her ID. He can come back to her home. She can eliminate him. If a man take my wallet and turn his back, I can't do shit. So women, I'm telling y'all. But the best thing is to keep yourself out of these situations. Keep yourself out of these environments where there's a high probability. Things happen everywhere. Crime is crime. Crime is universal. Don't have a color. Don't have a time. It's crime. It's everywhere. But what I'm telling you is areas where it's more probable, where it can happen, where it's more likely to happen. Those areas we want to stay away from. And if we do got to go in those areas, preparation. Take action. Prepare. Like I said, these three things. This is like a hack of life. If you look at them, you can apply it to anything. We're talking about awareness, acceptance, and action. Now think about this. Even using this, say if you want to go in a bad area, you have family there, right? Okay, I'm aware of it. Hold on, let me get back to this. Okay, I'm aware that the area I'm going in is better. I'm aware of it. Acceptance. Remember, acceptance comes with acknowledging the existence and admitting the impact. So if I'm aware I'm going into a bad area, I done identified it, I'm acknowledging that it's a bad area, and I'm understanding the impact. Something bad can happen. So what kind of actions can I take? I'm already educated about the area. Now I can prepare. Okay, I might have to take that thing with me to even the odds. I might have to take more people with me. You see what I'm saying? Preparation, observation. When you're there, you're just being observant, looking to make sure, if things start feeling funny, you get out of there and you're ready to attack. This can be done. Triple A can be used in almost uh, any portion of your life. Anytime you have to break something down, you can use the system. It's easy, it's compact. I use this, like I said, when I interact with people. This is like a checklist almost sometimes, especially if the person is new to me and I know nothing about the person. This is like a checklist. I go through all these steps. I'm aware of the person. I become aware. I'm observant. Sometimes you don't have to use them in order, because observation, in certain instances, you observing first will give you the awareness to identify and understand. The preparation will bring, if you prepared, now you understand the impact, that the situation can have. So this AAA system, like I said, is the key of life. You can use this for a lot of different things. Anytime you're unsure, go through this. I promise you. Bring awareness. Go through these steps. Bring awareness, acceptance, and action. And it's AAA. You can use these steps. You don't have to use them in concession. You can mix them up. You might have to take action first. You might have to come to a place of acceptance before you can become aware. Some instances that will happen too. You have to accept something to become aware of. But anytime things get sticky, I promise you, if you go through these, I lost the book. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's hard, especially when it comes to the baby. But awareness, acceptance, and action is key. I apologize again. I got a crazy migraine, but I'm gonna definitely build on this again. It's two slides that I don't have. I want to incorporate, but remember these two because to use this properly, you have to incorporate polarity, duality. Everything has a positive and negative. You when you at one end, hope, right? Uh, when you at one end, be aware that it's another end of that pole. So all the pain you feel, understand on the other side of that pain is joy, it's happiness. That's what's on the other side. It's just our job to get to there. It's our job to get to there. And it's so within, so without. Fix the inside first. And when you do the work on the inside, it will reflect outside of yourself. Like I always tell people, your thoughts condition the mind, but it's your emotion that gives you those thoughts. People always say um, the thought inspires the emotion. I'm telling you, it's backwards. The way you manifest is you feel good about something first, and then you think about it, and that thought becomes reality. If your beliefs come from the way you feel about things. I don't know if anybody ever told you that. That's how you solidify a belief is through an emotion. That's how people get people to believe in them, right? They make them feel good. They give you a feeling. Sometimes it's fear. If you believe a person will hurt you, you're going to be fearful, right? So your feeling is what solidify your belief. So if you can control your emotion, you can grasp an understanding and become one with it, you'll be able to change your own beliefs. You'll be able to create new ones, and it won't matter what other people say. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be a regular live. But I got something for, I got a part 3 for that confidence. You know, um, so that's going to be dope. But if you can control your emotions, if you can make peace with your emotions, you can begin to create your own reality. Because all beliefs are solidified with how you feel. That's the key. If you notice, that's how manipulation is, especially when they talk about conditioning, programming, and all that. They always attack your emotions first. They get you feeling bad, feeling hopeless. That's one of the big ones. When people make you feel hopeless, you have to be able to control your emotions. So we go get to that point. There's a lot of metaphysics. There's some stuff in the Bible to help you too. So I'm gonna help you get there. If that's what y'all desire, I got the salt. But let me get my butt off here. We'll try to come back tomorrow. If y'all got any questions, I'll put the link down there where you can hit me in the Discord. You can hit me on here. And hopefully I'll be live later on tonight. But if not, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, review this, look at it again. Remember these 2 principles. These are keys to life, I promise you. If you can fix your inside, it will reflect your outside. Your outside conditions will start getting better. The more work we do on the inside, controlling our emotions, eliminating those fears, eliminating those insecurities. The stuff people say to you won't even matter no more. Some people, um, like me, I got flaws. Everybody got flaws, right? I got a tube in my head, man. I can't see. You know, People can joke and say whatever they want. It's cool. It don't bother me. 'Cause those are just aspects of me. That's not who I am. And I know that. And if they don't know, oh well. It's the confidence too that it builds in you. People always go talk about you. Always. They go say nice things, they go say bad things. But when you great, people will always talk about you. My grandmother told me that. No matter if it's good or bad, people go talk. It don't matter what they say unless you allow it to affect you. And if it do, then you have to understand why. I ran around the street, right? So reputation was big. If people put smut on my name, that can be bad for my business. So I used to jump and move anytime somebody used my name in the wrong way. We got to rectify this. We got to rectify that. I put myself in harm's way so many times doing that. And the people who said stuff half the time, they didn't even matter. Those people don't even matter. Most people who will form their lips to say something negative about you, they don't even matter in their own life. Because if they did, they would be, instead of saying nasty things about you, they'd be trying to figure out how to make themselves better. A lot of times, that's all people can do. They're one trick pony. So, these people are easily, I wouldn't even say avoidable, just don't pay them no attention. They don't matter. They literally don't matter. Like, man, it's so many. These people don't matter. In reality, like, nothing they saying is affecting nothing you doing. There's people on here right now. They throwing smut, throwing mud at me. It don't matter. I don't like. Who are you? Your existence to me don't matter, and I show them that. I will starve them. You want my attention? That's how you eat. You go starve. You just go starve. I'm straight. I'm doing other things, and that's the point we got to get to. But yeah, let me get off here, Miss Tracy. My condolences again. We praying for you, sis. Appreciate everybody rocking out. Apologies again, but yeah, we go. I'm gonna try to come back tonight. If not tonight, tomorrow.